Conrad is a town of 2,400 people with a view of the Rocky Mountain front to the west and the Golden Triangle wheat belt to the east.
Conrad County Insurance was started from scratch in this rural community. One of our main core values was to give back to the community that supports us. We thought it would be fun to bring kids and families back to the dinner table, and if we have foods, how do we prepare it? And we reached out to the MSU extension here locally.
It's Vanessa Buckland and Jennifer Grine. They asked me if I would be interested in doing this, and I said, you bet, let's develop a plan. And they were very upfront and said, we will handle all the recruiting and the signups and the advertising, and then however we can help you, we are willing to do that. This program comes from our best resource, and that's our community.
I like to cook with my grandkids and we like to bake. I thought this would be fun to get into actual cooking.
I wanted to do it because then I could spend time with my grandma.
I took the class with my mom and my brother. Me and my twin, every time he'd crack some joke and I'd make a snarky comment about it, and everybody was just laughing and having fun there. It was great.
The classes start off with a teaching element. Wendy goes over what we're going to do for the day, and then everybody gets to break up into groups and they have their recipes. One group is over here making hummus and another group is over here making mac and cheese. At the end of every class, we get all the food that's been prepared together. There's sheets set out for people to vote on, so everybody gets a taste test. I like this, I didn't like that.
It's a good way to, as a community, come together at like a dinner table.
Yeah.
And enjoy the discussion on the trials and tribulations of that preparation.
It doesn't take a lot of ingredients to do these things, and they're very tasty. We did a stroganoff. We did things like baked potatoes and did lasagna soup and mac and cheese. So we worked in some comfort food, and people were pretty thrilled to go, hey, this is a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And they're also getting coaching as they go through it.
We made rice pudding, spaghetti, chili.
And then we did bread making because it's very inexpensive to make, and there are easy ways to do it that don't take a lot of time.
Wendy really was instrumental too in bringing in ingredients that most kids and even adults would turn their nose up. I mean, she brought a whole peas and lentil component.
The second class, we did pulse crops and focused on things that are grown in our area.
We made cookies. I know
cookies
Jen
out of lentils.
loves these cookies. Lentil cookies, but they were outstanding, and even the kids loved it.
With the kids, I've seen the confidence boost just because I've had them tell me, I made this and I would never have done this before.
Yeah, I think the classes made me more confident cooking at home because it's honestly fun being able to mess around with your own ingredients and stuff. The thing I made at home with the Instacooker I got from the class was a shrimp Alfredo. It was good.
One of the high school kids' mom said, you can't believe what these guys are doing at home. They've done ribs, they're cooking 2 to 3 times a week, and that takes a load off of her because they're also another very active, busy family. Being in a very rural area, we do have barriers to foods. We're near the end of the line for delivery, and I've even had conversations with the produce manager at the store who talked one time about I basically had to throw away a half a flat of lettuce. It was falling apart when it got here and not edible. Another barrier is that a lot of the items in our grocery store are anywhere from $1 to $4 per item higher in Conrad than they are in Great Falls. If we can teach people how to look at those things then that are on the sale flyer and then plan for that week. We've got mostly 2 working parents and kids with very busy schedules. So I think we've kind of disconnected a little bit from being at home and doing those cooking things as a family. One of the reasons we did the classes was to give parents the confidence that their kids can learn this and to give the kids the freedom to try under guidance. And it's a life skill, right? If you don't cook, you don't eat, or you have to pay someone else to cook so that you can eat.
I definitely think the skills I learned in this class will be good because if I go off to college or if I just go live by myself, I can make myself my own meals instead of having to rely on other people who are constantly eating out.
We were able to see grandparents bringing in grandkids. We saw dads with daughters. We saw friends that wanted to do an event together. We even had a single lady who was just very intimidated by the kitchen and really by the end came out of her shell and brought her mom.
Even though Conrad isn't a huge community, there were people there that I did not know. And you see them uptown and you can visit, and it brings out your bonding with your community.
I think it's like important so you could like meet new people and like learn how to use teamwork.
I have heard from students, I run into them at the grocery store. I've had people show me their pictures, like, this is what I made, isn't this look fantastic? You know, you meet people that you never would have talked to before.
I think for a lot of people in rural areas, we express love via food. And that social connection that we have in bringing a group of strangers to the table or to the kitchen to cook helps that social part, which is beneficial for everybody. If there's anybody who wants to do this in their community, having community partners is huge. Figure out who has which strengths.
I think that communities coming together, businesses sponsoring, it's not a huge ticket item. Really, Wendy, she did this all 6 classes for all of these people for under $400 to prove the point that it doesn't have to be expensive.
If there was another teen debating to sign up for this class, I'd definitely convince them to do it because she actually teaches you some great skills.
I think all of our communities need not only the bonding that you got to do in the classes, but in today's world, I just think it's an important thing to learn how to cook.
I think the thing that brings me the most joy is people having that realization of, 1, it's easier than I thought it was going to be. And 2, I want to do this at home and I want to share this with other people.
I didn't get to know my grandparents, and so to be able to spend this kind of quality time with mine means the world.